WBC HD1 Indianapolis. The news starts now.
Tomorrow's service for influencer and founder Charlie Kirk.
A lot more people starting to pour into the greater Phoenix metro area as they try to honor the life of Charlie Kirk. And we expect those crowds to only get larger as we get closer to Sunday's planned public memorial service in nearby Glendale, Arizona. Now, a lot of the folks that we've spoken to out here say they're from Arizona, but there are people coming in from all over the country, from coast to coast, and in some cases from around the world. They tell us if they can't get in on Sunday, they're going to watch the stream, and they feel it's a fitting honor that both President Trump and Vice President Vance will be speaking. However, we know authorities are preparing for protests and possible disruptions.
Fox's Jeff Paul in Phoenix. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he will travel to State Farm Stadium and be there alongside President Trump and other White House officials. Well, President Trump issues a warning to Venezuela: take back your prisoners or else. Fox's Jill Nato explains.
In a post on Truth Social, the president said, "We want Venezuela to immediately accept all of the prisoners and people from mental institutions, which includes the worst in the world insane asylums that Venezuelan leadership has forced into the United States." He said if Venezuela doesn't, the price you pay will be incalculable. He didn't specify what action he might take. The president's also taken military action against a few boats from Venezuela believed to be hauling drugs to the U.S. Meanwhile, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has accused the U.S. of trying to produce a regime change in his country. Jill Nato, Fox News.
And a right-wing demonstration in the Netherlands erupts into violence. We'll have more on that and other details. America's listening to Fox News.
I'm Emily Campagno, and I'm taking you inside the Idaho murders. In Moscow, Idaho, a small college town, one case so violent and heartbreaking shocked the nation. 4 students were found brutally murdered in their off-campus home, prompting a cross-country search for the cold-blooded killer. The Fox True Crime Podcast presents Inside the Idaho Murders: the evidence, the manhunt, the killer, and the victims.
Listen and follow now at foxtruecrime.com. Every weekday, it's your go-to source for staying informed and entertained. The Fox News Primetime Highlights Podcast, offering a curated selection of the most impactful moments of the Ingram Angle, Jesse Waters Primetime, Hannity, and Gutfeld. Listen and follow now so you never miss a moment of the action-packed highlights from these must-watch Fox News Channel shows. Go to foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you listen to podcasts. America's listening to Fox News.
President Trump says he and Chinese President Xi have made progress on a deal to allow TikTok to...
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Out with video of the chase and shooting. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending this hour. IMPD releasing body cam footage on Friday of an incident from July where police were in pursuit of a man that was shooting at them from his vehicle. Earlier that day on July 24th, police say they responded to a home where a woman, later identified as 60-year-old Nora McNary, had been shot by her 76-year-old husband, Walter. She later died at the hospital. Walter was shot and killed by return fire from IMPD officers. A vote center proposal not advancing this week in Hamilton County. The Hamilton County Election Board did not get the unanimous vote it needed on Thursday to move the county from traditional precinct-based voting to a countywide vote center model. County Clerk Kathy Williams told Wish TV she's disappointed that it didn't pass.
It's getting harder and harder to find a location within communities that is handicap accessible, has a paid parking lot, will allow us there for the day.
68 of Indiana's 92 counties have already adopted the vote center model, which allows you to cast a ballot at any county location of your choosing on Election Day. Indiana's unemployment rate at 3.6% in August. That's lower than the national rate of 4.3%. The state's labor force participation rate was 63.6%, which comes in higher than the national rate by 0.7%. Indiana's total labor force is just shy of 3.5 million people. The Colts are in Nashville to battle the Titans on Sunday, and the Fever are visiting the Aces to begin their semifinal round of the WNBA playoffs. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Now the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, partly cloudy. That isolated chance continues. Low temperatures in the mid-60s. For Sunday, isolated chance in the morning, becoming scattered in the afternoon and evening hours. High temperatures in the lower 80s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure of
1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft, in a breach, or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet, so make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
Join us every Friday right around 5:50 for Beer Sample Friday.
Brought to you by Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus, home of free delivery within 75 miles of their store.
Indy Humane. Find your new best friend today. Visit indyhumane.org.
You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Saturday Night on the Circle, where I am the bespectacled curmudgeon, Ethan Hatcher, and that is producer Jack Bip, 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 on the board, pushing the buttons and doing the things to make the show function. And this week, producer Jack, the tears are thick. They're weeping and gnashing their teeth. Oh, the crocodile tears are flowing over the cancel culture, or should I say consequence culture, that liberals have created as many individuals find themselves fired, find themselves out of a job after posting truly repugnant statements celebrating the death, encouraging more violence following the brutal assassination of Charlie Kirk. And look, it wasn't conservatives who set this standard, so excuse me if I'm not feeling an insignificant amount of schadenfreude following the utter collapse of woke leftism in the United States of America. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, the most recent event is Jimmy Kimmel, after stepping in it at the beginning of the week, being put on indefinite suspension by ABC affiliate of Disney Corporation because their distributors, Nexstar and Sinclair, objected to the abhorrent rhetoric of Jimmy Kimmel, especially in proliferating this lie that the shooter of Charlie Kirk was in any way affiliated with MAGA and was a product of the right wing, something that Jimmy Kimmel knew was false at the time of broadcast.
We had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction.
Move this man!
But let's be realistic here, producer Jack. The reality of the situation is that the late night talk show model is a failing model in the modern culture. They cannot afford to pay these large and bloated writing staffs, and Jimmy Kimmel himself costing more than $15 million a year for ratings that people and individual creators are getting on YouTube on a daily or weekly basis. The streaming society that we live in, the egalitarian nature of entertainment content, has resulted in an environment where that late night talk show model is no longer self-sustaining. So I'm not crying any tears for Jimmy Kimmel temporarily losing his job. And don't worry, I'm sure he will land in an equally cushy gig in relatively short order if they don't continue to resume the series at some point, because he's not canceled. The show hasn't been ended. It's just been put on indefinite suspension pending a potential apology from Jimmy Kimmel for spreading these lies on his talk show, which is supposed to be entertainment, but has recently veered into the political, including a time, mind you, where he celebrated people like Tucker Carlson for losing their job following the 2020 election and his departure from Fox News. And Jimmy Kimmel clapped. The crowd cheered.
Fox News has severed bow ties with Tucker Carlson. After all these years, they are parting ways, which means he was fired. I mean, that's really what parting ways means. Tucker couldn't be reached for comment. He's already on a plane to Moscow to meet with his manager. But what a shock. I mean, what an absolutely delightful shock this is.
Delightful
Tucker
shock.
can spend more time at home tanning his testicles and touching himself to that sexy green M&M. Sadly, he's probably not done poisoning old people's brains. The question now is, where will he do it next? Will he go to OAN? Will he go to Newsmax? Will he crawl back up Satan's fiery beehole from whence he came? We don't know. One of the most despicable Mother Tuckers ever to appear on American television.
Ironic. Tucker Carlson at his height would blush if he ever got as low ratings as Jimmy Kimmel has sustained on ABC, many times a much larger show. And yet here you have Jimmy celebrating when Tucker Carlson was fired, but he expects you to feel some sympathy for him somehow, the multimillionaire. And mind you, producer Jack, again, at $15 million a year, if Jimmy Kimmel managed his money right, he could retire tomorrow and live for the rest of his life in relative luxury and comfort. Money that in all likelihood you and I will never ever see, but he wallowed in. And he also celebrated when the Tesla stock was taking a downturn following the vandalism and firebombing of a lot of Tesla dealerships over Elon Musk's affiliation and participation in the White House and the Department of Government Efficiency. Here was another clip of Jimmy Kimmel reveling in the cancel culture, but he expects you to feel sorry for him somehow.
Our co-president, Elon Musk, sent a SpaceX vehicle to bring the astronauts back, and when they landed, he fired them immediately upon landing. Tesla stock is way down, almost disastrously so. People have been vandalizing Tesla vehicles, new Tesla vehicles. Please don't vandalize. Don't ever vandalize Tesla vehicles. And so,
Get him out of here.
Get him out of here! Get the out of my room!
And they're laughing because he's winking to the crowd and subtly, you know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Oh, will nobody rid me of this meddlesome priest, i.e., oh, you know, wouldn't it be such a shame if there were more fire bombings at your local Tesla dealership? So yeah, Jimmy Kimmel is a piece of trash, and I don't think the majority of America is mourning his temporary job loss. And mind you, again, he's going to get a gig somewhere else in all likelihood, and it's going to be much more cushy than the job we are working here. But the reality is the economics of his late night program are no longer sustainable when you have content creators, like I said earlier, on YouTube, who are doing arguably a much better job on a phenomenally lower budget because they aren't burdened by the bureaucracy and by the union contractual obligations of a modern day Hollywood machine. And something that was pointed out by Scott Jennings on CNN, Jimmy Kimmel is not entitled to a late night TV show. That's not what the First Amendment is. That's not what free speech is about. Jimmy Kimmel is still free to express his opinion. He's just not free to do it on ABC for the time being.
Jimmy Kimmel's still free to speak. He just isn't necessarily free to do it on ABC.
Boom. Roasted.
Which obviously made a business decision. I see everybody rushing to blame the administration for this tonight. But you had Nexstar, which owns a bunch of ABC affiliates, and Sinclair Group, which owns a bunch of ABC affiliates, saying they were mad about what he did. I'm sure it generated massive numbers of viewer complaints into the affiliates. A smart TV person said the only thing you can't do in TV is piss off the affiliates. And I think that's what they did.
Correct! That's the reality of the situation that Jimmy Kimmel finds himself, or for that matter, Producer Jack, the situation that you or I find ourselves in working for an entertainment company here at WIBC. If you or I say something that is truly reprehensible to the social conscience, especially on the air, where it may offend thousands of listeners here in the Indianapolis listening area, we could easily find ourselves walking out the door, or getting escorted out, I should say, because we would lose our jobs for that. And that's what happened to Jimmy Kimmel. So feel no pity for him. These are crocodile tears coming from the left. However, we do live in danger of veering into overreaction and then legitimizing the ridiculous tenets of hate speech that the liberals have abided by for the last going on 10 to 15 years. And this was some disqualifying commentary from the Attorney General Pam Bondi, who was borrowing from leftist rhetoric. And you'll hear more about that coming up next for Saturday Night on The Circle. Stay tuned to 93 WIBC.
Sun's up, the coffee is brewing, and Tony Katz is your morning information barista.
Tony Katz, good to be with you.
Clarity.
We're not interested in having this debate. We're only interested in honestly addressing the issue.
Context.
We should not present this in any other light. The objective is the destruction of Western civilization.
And a little caffeine.
Only the Constitution should rule.
Tony Katz in the morning news. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 93 WIBC.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling will pay you cash for your scrap metal. Race Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling may seem familiar to you, and that's because they are. They're trusted local family-owned businesses going back 3 generations in Indy with their familiar orange logo and a name you know. But you may not know they'll pay you cash for your scrap metal. Cash is king. Your scrap aluminum, steel, copper, and brass will get you cash from Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Just drop it off or schedule a pickup, and you'll put cash in your pocket. Raise Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Local names you can trust with 2 locations.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Get cash for your scrap. Get started at farnsworthmetals.com.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. I know finding a dream engagement ring can be overwhelming, but don't worry, we got you. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond at Shane Company is truly the best of the best. Our team travels the world to see diamonds up close, in person. We handpick each one for its unique fire, brilliance, and scintillation. Diamond buying is an art. Of course, we look at cut, color, clarity, and carat, known as the 4 C's. But that's not all. We also look at how each diamond looks on a hand, where it will be worn, how it makes you feel, and if it's worthy of a Shane Company customer. That type of expertise only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. We also think about your budget. We only pick the best in each grade in all shapes and sizes. Your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey, fall's in the air at Sundown Gardens in Westfield and Miss M's Home and Garden in Bargersville. Locally grown mums and pumpkins are everywhere, along with fall annuals and a wide selection of fall decor. Stop in this week to get your home beautified and in season for the cool days and crisp fall nights. Locally grown mums and pumpkins plus fall annuals and decor all at Sundown Gardens up north at 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield, and Miss M's on State Road 135 just south of Whiteland Road in Bargersville.
Stop settling for weak sound. It's time to level up your game and bring the boom. Hit the town with the ultra-durable LG X Boom portable speaker and enjoy vibrant sound wherever you go. Elevate your listening experience to new heights because, let's be real, your music deserves it. The future of sound is now with LG X Boom. And for a limited time, save 25% at LG.com with code FALL25. Bring the boom. X Boom.
See a wreck on 465? Find a new pothole on your way to work? You can let Matt Bear know and help out your fellow travelers. Text WIBC to 317-239-9393 and join the text club.
The Attorney General's Unclaimed Property Division has over $800 million just waiting to be claimed. Text Tamara and Nigel to 46220 or visit indianaunclaimed.gov to claim yours today.
Service, veterans have our backs. Now we should have theirs. Learn more at gotyoursix.org.
Heat and cool places where ductwork won't fit using Mitsubishi electric ductless mini splits. You can even wrap them to match your decor.
Find out more at absolutecomfort.org.
No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. Learn more at helpnokidhungry.org.
You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on the Circle. We find ourselves in the potential of overreaction and then legitimizing of the language that leftists have used to maneuver themselves in the political climate that we find ourselves today. And I'm talking, of course, about this culture of quote-unquote hate speech that now, unfortunately, you have people like the Attorney General of all individuals for the Trump administration legitimizing hate speech, which is not something that exists and is certainly not illegal or a crime. There are two things that are not covered under free speech, and that is incitement and direct threats, of which hate speech generally does not qualify just for hurting somebody else's feelings. I mean, for gosh sakes, that's why Charlie Kirk was shot, because somebody's feelings were hurt by what he said, because what they thought he was engaging in was hate speech, and now you have the Attorney General perpetuating this same lie. This is a problem.
There's free speech, and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything, and that's across the aisle.
You're not just wrong, you're stupid. Now wait just a minute. And you're ugly, just like your mum.
So arguably what she is discussing is a legitimate assault on the First Amendment, using the power of the government to target individuals for hate speech, for merely saying things that they find offensive, and then using the power of the government to prosecute these people. Now, look, it's an entirely different matter if somebody's private employer makes an individual decision that is uninfluenced by the government to terminate employment or terminate association with individuals who are participating in particularly abhorrent rhetoric online. That's for the private employer to discern for themselves. It is not the place of the government to participate in this thought police, this hate speech policing, something that if Pam Bondi believed in protecting the legacy of Charlie Kirk himself did not believe in policing hate speech. In fact, hate speech and offensive speech is integral to the free society that we live in. It is integral to the constitutional freedoms, beginning with the First Amendment.
My position is that even hate speech should be completely and totally allowed in our country. I think that in a civil society, the best ideas will win as long as you have that marketplace. And here's the real issue. As soon as you shut up hate speech, those people only get more powerful. And this is the unintended consequence of censorship. You give more credence sense to the silenced person the moment you shut them up, because then they can play the victim and they say, they're trying to shut me up because I have something that everyone else wants and I'm a threat to them. No, you're not. You're just a fool. And those people have too much power. And so the minute that you start to enforce speech laws like they do in Europe based on specific political opinions, then you actually give credence to them.
You're damn right. So Charlie Kirk would not have supported using the government to target individuals just for sharing hateful or offensive opinions, even about him in the wake of his brutal assassination. Again, encouraging violence, perpetuating violence, making specific threats, these are not covered under the umbrella of free speech, but offensive opinions, offensive statements absolutely are. So to be using the power of the government is something we should not be encouraging, something that's been echoed by our own Attorney General here in the state of Indiana, Todd Rokita, dipping his toes into this cultural conversation and encouraging employers to fire their employees for expressing offensive opinions. Again, that should be at the discrimination and the determination of these individual businesses outside of the pressure that exerted on them from government. Something that we saw during the Biden administration when they put pressure on private social media corporations like Facebook to censor opinions that were contrary to the government narrative at the time. So we don't want to be engaging in the same behavior now. Worse yet, Pam Bondi continued to double down, and she seems to be engaging in the conservative version of the bake the damn cake argument from Colorado.
That's horrific. It's free speech, that you shouldn't be employed anywhere if you're going to say that. And employers, you have an obligation to get rid of people. You need to look at people who are saying horrible things, and they shouldn't be working with you. Businesses cannot discriminate. If you want to go in and print posters with Charlie's pictures on them for a vigil, you have to let them do that. We can prosecute you for that. I have Harmeet Dillon right now in our civil rights unit looking at that immediately, that Office Depot had done that. We're looking at that.
Stop it, please, I beg you! It's a sin! It's a sin! It's a sin!
So the Trump administration, of all administrations, should not be using the power of the government to strong-arm these businesses for what? For civil rights violations, for engaging in the same rhetoric of the left and thereby legitimizing their logic and their exercise of power in their own administration. This is frankly unacceptable, especially when you had the free market was already doing its job. What she's referring to, producer Jack, is an instance where Office Depot employee denied service to somebody who was trying to print posters inviting people to come to a Charlie Kirk memorial. And so she's deeming that a violation of their civil rights and is dipping into the same disastrous leftist rhetoric of the bake the damn cake argument when the bakers in Colorado were targeted by these LGBT organizations to force them to legitimize a gay wedding that they did not want to participate in because of their religious their religious objections. And so now they're essentially echoing the same arguments, and again, this is frankly unacceptable. The line is drawn at incitement to violence, language that is likely to encourage violence to happen in the near future, or specific threats against individuals. And this has been the standard since 1969 in the Brandenburg v. Ohio decision. And an example of this language would be like that of Destiny. Have you heard of streamer Destiny? I think he's on Twitch, a few other streams, producer Jack. He's one of these young podcaster types.
I haven't heard of.
There's people like Destiny, and then there's also people like Hassan Piker, and both of them are participating in this violent rhetoric that, mind you, already is in violation of terms of service, let alone the law. But here's an example.
You need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events, so that they look to their leadership to turn down the temperature. The issue is right now, they don't feel like there's any fear. Like, I don't know. It's like memes. It's just memes to everybody, I guess. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't care. I'm playing video games. Okay, I'm done today. I don't give a fuck. God, it's going to be so fucking gay if I get killed in the next in 2 months. I'm doing all the cucked out here. Please don't anybody make any actual the most cucked, weak-ass bullshit-ass speeches on my side.
Oh, that was horrible. You're horrible. You're an irredeemable monster.
Whoa, what took you so long, idiot?
So yeah, there would be an example of incitement or rhetoric that is likely to cause violence. This is what we should be denouncing and not legitimizing the hate speech arguments of the left. And for Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, to be wading into that is a little bit disqualifying in my estimation. Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on The Circle, and stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, because coming up next is another edition of The Sound Dump. Don't miss it.
Hammer and Nigel.
The things we did as kids that would emotionally destroy the kids of today.
Dodgeball in gym class. I went to Tri-West. I was terrified back in the early
I was
90s.
one of those guys that was throwing it as hard as I could at people.
Non-stop bullying was normal and tolerated, and teachers didn't give a crap about it. The advice was like, just try to ignore it.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
It seems like all kids do during the summer is drag dirt into the house. Well, they can stink up the house too, but here's the good news. The kids are back in school, and fortunately there is Zero Res. Zero Res is the healthy way to get your home feeling fresh and clean again. Even if your house doesn't look dirty, you need to call Zero Res to remove the dust, dander, and bacteria in your carpets from a summer of fun. Zero Res will clean up the pizza spills and puppy piddles, and they get the yuck out of your air ducts as well. Lucky for you, you can score big this month with great savings. Hi, this is Denny Smith, and you can get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at just $129 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning too. The patented ZR water uses no soap, leaves no residue, and there are no harsh chemicals either. They just aren't needed to get things really clean. Now mention WIBC and get 3 rooms cleaned by the Zero Res Pros starting at $129, plus $75 off duct cleaning too. 317-388-5141, online at ZeroResIndy.com.
Let's go.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Listen up, football fans. You won't want to miss this.
Right now, new Bet365 customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. So you could turn that $200 into something bigger when you bet on money line, spread, totals, player props.
$200 in bonus bets when new customers bet $5. I know where I'm going to bet from now on. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Indiana. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
This hour powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard Mitsubishi Electric Ductless Mini Splits dealer.
Fox News, I'm Daria Aldinger. Republicans on Capitol Hill couldn't pass their own resolution to avert a government shutdown at the end of the month. Pennsylvania Congressman Dan Muser says it's because Democrats proposed their own bill.
Once again, they're putting politics over people, and that's not a cliche. I mean, that's the action that's taking place.
The Democratic plan would restore funding to Medicaid and public broadcasting. President Trump is sending the National Guard and federal agents to Memphis. City Council member Jerry Green says they aren't needed.
The things that we've been doing in Memphis are actually working. We're at a 25-year low in crime, and I am deeply concerned about the economic impacts. What we've seen in D.C. is small businesses, restaurants, hotels have suffered.
State law enforcement, like the Tennessee Highway Patrol, will assist in the operation. America is listening to Fox News.
Everyone's talking about Galaxy Concrete Coatings and their transformation. Like your neighbor Brett.
We did Galaxy for the sidewalks and also the porch. The porch had a few pits. Galaxy said that was no problem.
Home or business, Galaxy Concrete Coatings got you covered.
Obviously with the front sidewalk and step, so we didn't worry about any kind of slipping. You know, you're concerned about that after rain. And then when it did dry, it didn't spot, it didn't stain. It was just like it had been done yesterday.
Lots of styles to choose from, 4 times stronger than epoxy, and it comes with a lifetime warranty.
One thing that my wife commented on was how easy the Galaxy coating swept versus just the bare concrete.
Click on GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com now. That's Galaxy Concrete Coatings. And remember to like us on Facebook. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. We're out of this world.
We moved here recently. I didn't even think twice about calling anyone else but Galaxy to come do this house.
Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure. Now 1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft, in a breach, or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
So, where's the lake?
Not here.
But it says Great Lakes Honda of Fishers.
Right. I just don't see a lake.
Well, who needs a lake when you can lease a 2025 Accord SE for $329 a month and 0 down?
That definitely won't soak our bank account.
Oh, it's the old Honda of Fishers.
Great Lakes, great people, great cars.
But no actual lake. Visit our showroom off State Road 37 today. Tax and title fees not included with approved credit through Honda Financial. In-stock new Hondas only. Not combinable with other offers. Loyalty or conquest rebates may apply. Offer ends September 30th. See dealer for details.
Stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time, having a good time. Shooting star leaping through the sky like a tiger, defying the laws of gravity. I'm a racing car.
This is Saturday Night on The Circle on 93 WIPC.
There's no stopping me.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to don your handy-dandy hazmat suit once again as we wade through another week of the slimiest clips in news, starting with the decrepit Dick Durbin getting destroyed by the quick wit of Kash Patel during a fiery Senate committee hearing exchange. During the same session, Senator Mazie Hirono of Hawaii suddenly discovered there are biological differences between men and women, and the Somalian candidate for mayor of Minneapolis finds himself at the center of a major ethics scandal involving himself and his wife. You'll also hear instant karma for a crazed, knife-wielding maniac in a peaceful Florida park. And you'll hear this and more for another edition of The Sound Dump.
I'll take you for a ride. I'm a garbage truck.
It's the Saturday Night Sound Dump on 93 WIPC.
I take you to the dump. I show you the sights, you know you want to ride. I'm a garbage truck. Truck.
Welcome back to Saturday Night on The Circle, where I'm the bespectacled curmudgeon, Ethan Hatcher. That's producer Jack on the board, beep, 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 pushing the buttons and doing the things to make the show function. And we begin with a fiery exchange from FDBI Director Kash Patel and the decrepit Dick Durbin during a Senate committee hearing over his handling of the Epstein Files controversy. And look, I do think there were many failures of Kash Patel over how the Epstein Files have been handled, how this investigation has been operated under the Trump administration. However, he did defend himself magnificently on the Senate floor with a hilarious quip.
Stating there is no incriminating client list. Why was this July 7th memorandum unsigned?
Would you prefer I've used AutoPen?
Got him.
Snoop Dogg. You know what happened with the DRE?
Would you have preferred I use AutoPen? I mean, that's a mic drop moment, producer Jack. Just a gloriously quick wit. And honestly, there's little to be gained from these committee hearings. More often than not, they're just used as fodder for sound bites anyway, which is exactly what both sides were attempting to engage in there. There was a hilarious moment on the Emmys this week where they, of course, they showered Stephen Colbert with praise. They gave him an award for his low ratings late night comedy show. But also, there was a category for Best Director of a Limited Series, and Elizabeth Banks, herself this kind of woke director in Hollywood, self-aggrandizing. Well, producer Jack, she girl bossed too close to the sun, because there were several nominees for the Best Director of this limited series. Many of them were women, so surely it wouldn't be the man that would win in 2025. And, well, this setup failed spectacularly for Elizabeth Banks. It was glorious. Chef's kiss.
And when was the last time a directing category had 5 women and 1 man? Now, yeah, I did not bother to look that up, but I think we all agree it was never. And this year's nominees are Helen Shaver for The Penguin, Shannon Murphy for Dying for Sex, Nicole Castle for Sirens, Jennifer Getzinger for The Penguin, Leslie Linka Glatter for Zero Day, and Philip Barantini for Adolescence. Which is kind of poetic, if you think about it, because that means Philip is the oneer. Ooh. If you know, you know. All right, the Emmy goes to Philip Barantini.
Some tells me that's not the way that she expected that one to go, producer Jack. But in 2025, identity politics is an absolute free fall, because the American public has reacted so viscerally to it. They have rejected the participation in outright falsehoods being purveyed by the left, including the lie that men and women are the same and there are no biological differences between the sexes, and you can transition between one and the other with nary a difference. And in fact, during that exchange on the Senate committee hearing investigating Kash Patel's handling of the Epstein files, Mazie Hirono also criticized how his administration has changed the admissions policy into the FBI, and in her critique actually admitted that yes, there are physiological, biological, phenotypical differences between men and women. Who would have thunk it? But coming from a leftist, this is a revelation.
You know, you've been asked some questions about changes to your hiring standard, and including college degrees and possibly the age. But, you know, one question I had is that you are now requiring applicants to be able to do a certain kind of pull-ups, which a lot of women cannot because of physiological differences. Are you requiring these kinds of pull-ups?
We are requiring a physical program at BFTC at Quantico because FBI agents carrying guns in the field have to chase down bad guys and do really hard work. The physical fitness standards of those agents
So are you requiring these kinds of pull-ups?
We are requiring everybody to pass the 1811 standards at BFTC. If you want to chase down a bad guy and put him in handcuffs, you better be able to do a pull-up.
It's morning again in America.
Again, love the retort from Kash Patel there, because he's absolutely right. And it's hilarious to see the senator admit that there are physiological differences between men and women when leftists have been purveying this lie that when men participate in biological women's sports, they don't somehow have an enormous biological advantage. They're taking hormones. No, there are fundamental differences between men and women, and I'm glad that Senator Mazie Hirono is able to admit that now, even in light of using it to criticize Kash Patel. Thanks for listening to Saturday Saturday night on The Circle, 93 WIBC. Another important story came from KARE 11, a local news station in the Minneapolis area, doing some investigative reporting on the chicanery and scumbaggery, allegedly, of the Somalian mayoral candidate for Minneapolis mayor there over in Minnesota. And apparently, producer Jack, he is now dead in the center of an ethics scandal. And pray tell, this may have something to do with why the state rescinded their endorsement, the state Democratic Party, I should say, rescinded their endorsement of this mayoral candidate. Some fascinating reporting here, producer Jack.
A KARE 11 investigation into Minnesota's troubled housing stabilization program, already exposed for widespread fraud, now reveals an unexpected connection to candidate and state senator Omar Fatah.
We did discover something raising what a legal expert labels serious ethical concerns. Senator Omar Fatah's wife was a listed owner of a housing stabilization company, even as the senator and current Minneapolis mayoral candidate himself was pushing legislation to fast-track client approvals for the taxpayer-funded program.
Senator Fatah, Senate File 2741.
A bill that will address a critical delay in access to housing stabilization services, also known as HSS.
It's March 24th, 2025, and Senator Omar Fatah is the sole author of a bill he says will speed up access for people to be approved for HSS. What was not known at the time was that Senator Fatah had an undisclosed tie to the HSS industry. Does this raise any red flags?
It raises lots of red flags.
Political science professor David Schultz has taught ethics for 25 years.
This is a situation where I think almost anybody schooled in, government ethics 101 would know that you can't introduce legislation that benefits yourself.
Well, we can't have him here in our social club no more. I mean, that much I do know.
Why is it that Democrats time and again are find themselves allegedly involved in these elaborate money laundering schemes at your expense, where now allegedly this mayoral candidate and former state senator was caught authoring a bill which he stood to benefit enormously in the financial sense. His wife's business benefiting from this housing scheme that is in Minnesota. Again, illustrating why government is unfit to operate these kind of organizations. And now he he finds himself under investigation. Of course, if you are people like the representative Jasmine Crockett, you don't even believe in crime or criminality because being a criminal is just a state of mind, producer Jack, at least according to the representative.
I understood what was kind of pushing them there. And so I do want people to know that just because someone has committed a crime, it doesn't make them a criminal. That is completely different. Being a criminal is more so about your mindset. Committing a crime can come for a lot of different reasons.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this and totally redeem yourself.
I mean, and look, to be honest, she has a point there. If you are totally sociopathic and devoid of any level of morality, if you don't believe that you're guilty of a crime, then, hey, in your mind, you don't think you're a criminal, regardless of how many crimes you commit. Such as, here was an example of instant karma taking place in Cascades Park, just outside of Tallahassee, Florida, producer Jack. Sometimes karma comes through, and he saved the taxpayers a lot of money here when a maniac stabbed two strangers at the park, and then in his escape quickly drowned. And it was all filmed by a nearby onlooker.
Oh my God, he's drowning! Holy shit!
So they're attempting to rescue him in this retention pond. The walls are steep. He cannot swim.
Oh, he f***ing drowned.
Ah!
Holy shit. So apparently this guy had a knife at the park. People started freaking out. He jumped over the thing into the water, couldn't swim, and drowned.
Oh, that's terrible.
You seem kind of psyched.
No, I'm bummed. But I wasn't bummed. I was stoked.
Yeah, a bit of free advice there, Producer Jack. If you ever need to escape from a crime and you can't swim, maybe don't jump in the water. Just saying. Thanks for listening to 93 WIBC, and also get yourself some good representation. You need a lawyer to lead you through the process. I mean, he won't, but you might. And if I were under threat of criminal prosecution, I would turn to none other than Gene Kelly of Kelly Law and Associates.
Hi, I'm Gene Kelly of Kelly Law Associates, and I'm here to tell you that I can get you off. I can legally get car accidents, tax evasion, minor genocide. It's all the same to me. Some might look at a man and see a husband who brutally murdered his wife and then kept her body in the trunk of his car for 3 weeks. But I see a man who just didn't know how to play tennis right and accidentally hit his wife with a tennis racket 36 times, and to keep her body warm, put her in the back of his Camry. Public masturbation? More like government exacerbation. I graduated top of my class at the University of Phoenix. Kind of. Just remember, I am the law, and I will get you off. Having a divorce, your kids don't love you anyway.
I'd hire Producer Jack.
Me too.
Thanks for listening to the one and only 93 WIBC. This is Saturday Night on the Circle, and you won't believe who a Kentucky nurse was able to rescue in a viral social media clip, and I'll tell you more about that coming up next. Stay tuned.
86-85 fever.
93 WIBC.
The resilience, the toughness, the grit, the fight, the scrappiness.
What happens next?
2 teenagers were shot and killed.
Happens here.
This maniac stepping and stomping on him.
To honor Kirk's legacy.
In a time of peril to help the U.S.
Stay in the know.
A deep fake video.
You're on the go.
And if he's okay with that video, I am too.
The crackdown is working.
On air, online, and on Alexa.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Find the path to recovery that works for you. Learn more at cdc.gov/stopoverdose.
It's time. You've been putting off that kitchen or bath remodel long enough. What are you waiting for? Get started today with Boer Remodeling. Boer Remodeling customer Kathy had a bath remodel with Boer. Kathy, talk a little bit about your experience.
Our experience with Boer has been terrific. The process was so easy and seamless. When we decided to do a larger remodel of our first floor, Boer was the first company we thought of hiring.
And were you happy with the results?
The results are amazing, and we are so happy with our home and the work that Boer did.
Peter is another recent Boer Remodeling customer with a new kitchen. Peter, what was the best part about working with Boer?
We especially liked the active participation that we were able to have in selection of stone for the countertops. Really came out beautiful. The cabinets also came out very, very well.
The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. They'll guide you through the entire process. Start with a free consultation. Talk to Boer Remodeling today. That's BOOHER, BoerRemodeling.com.
This is Matt Baer. You've heard Dr. Nick Wilson on the weekend shows here on WIBC, and you've probably heard me talk about how much Restructured Chiropractic has helped me over the years. If you're dealing with daily headaches, constant neck tension, or that heavy tech neck by noon, your body's trying to tell you something. At Restructured, they don't just crack backs, they dig deeper to find what's stressing your nervous system and help you feel like yourself again. Right now, Dr. Wilson is offering you a full spine and nervous system assessment with his team. That includes your consultation, posture and nerve scans, x-rays if needed, and a customized natural health plan. Normally over $250. It's just $88 when you mention this ad. Restructured Chiropractic, the place I trust to get real results. Text RELIEF to 317-749-0677. 317-749-0677. 888-477. Check out more at berestructured.com.
Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure of
1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft in a breach or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Want in on special WIBC contests?
That is correct.
Join the text club. Text WIBC to 317-239-9393. Exclusive giveaways are just a text away.
The sky wasn't big enough for them all. The birds, they got help from below, from dirty ponds and the creatures of snow.
This is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Producer Jack, it's been a rough couple of weeks, but all is not lost in the world. There are bright moments and silver linings, including one woman who ultimately put her Hippocratic oath to the test in a particularly entertaining way. I love when people care for the animals and for wildlife. It shows more than anything that these aren't psychopaths. They have humanity. And this woman received some praise after she rescued a raccoon who got drunk from a nearby distillery and was about to drown.
Everybody that was around was like, it's dead. I mean, it's just not going to make it. And it was not breathing, and it had drowned, and it was full of water. Like, you could feel the water in it. So, I mean, immediately I just started doing CPR on it.
Suddenly, a sign of life.
Come on! Come on, baby! Come on! The entire time I was doing it, I was sort of afraid that it would come to and eat me up. And, you know, raccoons carry rabies, so I was afraid of that.
Fish and Wildlife responded before the town drunk turned into a mean drunk. They transported the little guy to get sobered up at the local vet.
Did you just go back to work after that and get back to a normal day on the job?
I sure did.
When Otis Campbell, named for the infamous Andy Griffith Show character, of course, made his return to the health department, Combs had the honor of reuniting him with his family.
Bye, Otis. I was tickled to death that it was able to join its mom again.
Yippee! Isn't that just a nice feel-good story, Producer Jack? Doesn't that put a smile on your face when you see people take care of the animals? And look, they saved a raccoon, a little baby raccoon. It's great.
Yeah, it's a wholesome story.
Yeah, he had gotten himself into the mash and some of the trash, I guess, from this distillery, and, you know, obviously got drunk and stumbled his way into the retention pond nearby, and there was this hospital and this nurse, even though she's not a veterinarian, but she put her operation of how the body, human or raccoon, works into good practice and was able to save his little life. So that's sweet, and you know, I think a necessary little pick-me-up from what has otherwise been a very dreary couple of weeks, Producer Jack. I mean, you're talking about political assassinations, retaliation online, people participating in some really gross rhetoric, losing their jobs, and sometimes, you know, you see friends and family sharing in these negative opinions, and it makes you feel sad and disappointed. But you won't feel sad and disappointed when you see somebody like this Kentucky nurse save a small little animal critter. Good stuff. Stay tuned for more Saturday Night on the Circle coming up in hour 2. Don't miss a moment, including Conspiracy Carl. More conversations on the way.
It's another week of this.
There's a very good chance that we'll have a settlement.
And another day for this.
Water rose 28 foot in 45 minutes.
Plus, another possibility of this.
Monitor the weather condition, the National Weather Service.
That's why another update is just minutes away.
Start saying we're not taking this anymore.
Just another day. Not with all this happening. Every day.
Happening now.
93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Hey, it's Matt Bear. You've probably heard Dr. Nick Wilson on WIBC weekends. But what you may not know is that I've been going to Restructured Chiropractic for years. They've helped me tremendously. If you're waking up with the same nagging neck or back pain every day, even after stretching, icing, or trying to push through, it's time for a better plan. Dr. Wilson is now offering you a chance to sit down with his doctors for a full spine and nervous system assessment. You'll get a complete consultation, exam, posture and nerve scans, any needed x-rays, a full status report, and most importantly, a personalized natural health plan for recovery. It's normally over $250, but right now you can get the whole package for just $88. Stop managing the pain, start fixing the real problem. Text RELIEF to 317-749-0677 to claim it. 317-749-0677. Check out more at BeRestructured.com.
It's Terry Stacy, and not too many locally owned businesses in central Indiana have been around 80 years. But Cardwell Do It Best on the south side has stood the test of time. Congratulations to Jeff Cardwell and Cardwell Do It Best, recently named 2025 Member of the Year by Do It Best. Autumn brings about whole new to-do lists, and Cardwell Do It Best has everything you need and even stuff you didn't know you needed, like extra keys. They make keys, including programmable keys and key fobs. Cardwell is your discount roofing headquarters, featuring dimensional roofing as low as $21 per bundle. And for the yard, find a full line of trusted lawn and garden products and Milwaukee M18 Fuel cordless power tools. Come celebrate 80 years strong at Cardwell Do It Best. Locally owned, community trusted, and always ready to help you do it best. 3205 Madison Avenue. Shop online where you'll find over 67,000 products with free shipping at CardwellHomeCenter.com.
Stop settling for weak sound. It's time to level up your game and bring the boom. Hit the town with the ultra-durable LG X Boom portable speaker and enjoy vibrant sound wherever you go. Elevate your listening experience to new heights because, let's be real, your music deserves it. The future of sound is now with LG X Boom. And for a limited time, save 25% at LG.com with code FALL25. Bring the boom. X Boom.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Broadcasting from the Technology Recycler Studios, this is Indy's Mobile News, 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. The news starts now.
Is expected to be filled to capacity and then some at tomorrow's memorial for Charlie Kirk. Fox's Jeff Paul at Turning Point headquarters nearby says mourners are expected to come from far and wide.
Crowds are really starting to show up here, and we expect it to only get busier as we get closer and closer to that planned public memorial at nearby State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Now, a lot of the folks we've talked to are locals. They're from Arizona, but there's still a big portion of folks who are coming in from all over the country, from coast to coast, and in some cases around the world. They tell us that if they can't get in tomorrow, they're going to just watch the stream, and they feel that it's a fitting honor that both President Trump and Vice President Vance will be speaking. However, we do know that authorities are preparing for some protests and possible disruptions.
House Speaker Mike Johnson says he will travel to the service with the president. Attorneys for the suspect in a high-profile murder case are asking a federal judge to eliminate the death penalty as an option.
Luigi Mangione is charged with killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson on a New York City sidewalk last December. His attorneys filed a motion with the federal court Saturday, arguing the government prejudiced the case by turning his arrest into what they called a Marvel movie spectacle, including a choreographed perp walk, and with their pretrial comments that if convicted, Mangione should be executed. Federal prosecutors have until the end of next month to respond. Mangione also faces state murder charges, but New York does not have the death penalty. He has pled not guilty to the murder. Jack Callahan, Fox News.
At least 14 people were killed overnight in Gaza City as Israel ramps up its offensive and urges Palestinians to leave. America is listening to Fox News.
You never know who might be taking the quiz.
I'm Clay Aiken.
I am Dre DeMatteo.
Hey, everybody, it's Billy Baldwin.
Hey, everyone, it's Patricia Heaton.
Hey, everyone, I'm Nicole Palizzi.
Hey, everyone, it's Candace Bushnell.
Hey, everyone, it's Henry Golding.
Hey, everyone, it's Zachary Levi.
Hey, everybody, it's Kevin Nealon, and it's time to take the quiz.
5 questions in less than 5 minutes every day. Listen and follow at thequiz.fox.
Thank you for taking the quiz.
Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
A warning from President Trump to Venezuela: take back your prisoners or else.
In a post on Truth.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Charging him with murder. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending this hour. The Johnson County Prosecutor's Office is filing murder charges against 21-year-old Isaiah Peak Jr. Police say Peak pulled out a gun and shot at the brother to the mother of his child, but missed and instead hit 22-year-old Badan Maburu, killing him. The shooting happened at an apartment complex in Greenwood Tuesday night after Peak and the woman got into a dispute. Johnson County Chief Deputy Prosecutor Matthew Kabaki said Maburu was not at all part of the argument and called his death the ultimate tragedy. Peak is now sitting in the Johnson County Jail awaiting trial. Body cam footage is now available from a July incident involving IMPD officers and a man who had shot and killed his wife earlier that day. The video shows 76-year-old Walter McNary leading police on a chase, firing multiple rounds at their police vehicles before being shot and killed by return fire, the incident happening back on July 24th. The Indianapolis Colts are looking to go 3-0 for the first time since 2009. They're on the road for the first time this season in a divisional game with the Titans in Nashville. Colts coverage begins at 10 a.m. with the Colts pregame huddle on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Countdown to kickoff then starts at noon. Then on 93 WIBC, coverage of the Indiana Fever's second round Game 1 against the Las Vegas Aces begins at 2:45. Tip-off set for 3 o'clock. The Fever advancing to the WNBA semifinals, something they haven't done since 2015. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Now the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, partly cloudy. That isolated chance continues. Low temperatures in the mid-60s. For Sunday, isolated chance in the morning, becoming scattered in the afternoon and evening hours. High temperatures in the lower 80s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling will pay you cash for your scrap metal. Ray's Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling may seem familiar to you, and that's because they are. They're trusted local family-owned businesses going back 3 generations in Indy with their familiar orange logo and a name you know. But you may not know they'll pay you cash for your scrap metal. Cash is king. Your scrap aluminum, steel, copper, and brass will get you cash from Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Just drop it off or schedule a pickup, and you'll put cash in your pocket. Ray's Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Local names you can trust with 2 locations.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Get cash for your scrap. Get started at farnsworthmetals.com.
Do you need furnace or heat pump service? Need to find a local well-trained expert you can trust, like Price Point Comfort Heating and Cooling? We'll find that independent American Standard Air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
Find your new best friend today. Visit IndyHumane.org.
This is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to Saturday Night on The Circle. If you haven't done so, make sure to hop on the YouTube machine and give us a like. If we get up to 50, then producer Jack's grandma is going to give him 3 pats on the head and a Werther's Hard original candy. And if you missed a moment of the podcast, make sure to catch uploads at WIBC.com, as well as my personal podcasting page, Saturday Night on The Circle.fireside.fm. This week, we found out more about the killer of Charlie Kirk, the brutal assassin, young Robinson. Can't remember his name. Tyler Robinson, not Lance Robinson. Tyler Robinson. He was involved in a lot of left-wing Discord groups. He was evidently furry, spent a lot of time playing a gay furry game on Steam community and associating with those kinds of characters. Evidently, it radicalized him. And we found out from the district attorney in Utah County, Jeff Gray, exactly what the killer is going to be charged with. Now, this was edited down from a larger clip, but these are the 7 charges that they are advancing against the shooter, Tyler Robinson.
I am charged with bringing justice for Charlie Kirk. I take this responsibility seriously. Today, after reviewing the evidence, I am filing a criminal information charging Tyler James Robinson, age 22, with the following crimes. Count 1, aggravated murder, for intentionally or knowingly causing the death of Charlie Kirk under circumstances that created a great risk of death to others. Count 2, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, a first-degree felony. Count 3, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for moving and concealing the rifle used in the shooting. Count 4, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for disposing the clothing he wore during the shooting. Count 5, witness tampering, a third-degree felony for directing his roommate to delete his incriminating texts. Count 6, witness tampering, a third-degree felony for directing his roommate to stay silent if police questioned him. And count 7, commission of a violent offense in the presence of a child, a Class A misdemeanor. Also, following the press conference, I am filing a notice of intent to seek the death penalty.
Good. It's well-deserved. And, even a brutal killer like Tyler Robinson deserves his shot at due process and presumption of innocence for whatever that's worth. But, of course, once he is, I'm sure, easily convicted in a court of law, I hope they pursue the death penalty in short order, especially for the brutal killing of a free speech icon engaging in peaceful debate on what should be the grounds for engaging in peaceful debate on a college campus and what that represented. But there are lingering questions about the assassination surrounding Charlie Kirk, including potential involvement from this nutcase's friends in his online community. Who knew what and when? And to that ends, the Congress is now inviting the CEOs of major streaming companies, Reddit, Discord, Twitch, and others to testify before a House committee on October 8th. So this is all coming in very short order, and hopefully we'll find out more information soon. And also, if you'll remember, Producer Jack, that 71-year-old boomer that was originally arrested shortly after the shooting, and there were reports early in the assassination, as news was still coming out, that he was the assassin, and of course that was quickly corrected. But that's only because he was screaming that he was the shooter. He was attempting to mislead law enforcement, this George Zinn, 71-year-old, who is evidently another warped leftist, showing that they come in all shapes and sizes, young and old. But he was attempting to get this shooter cover. To help him escape. Now, it doesn't appear that they were in coordination with one another, but how sick do you have to be to want to give cover to an assassin for a brutal killing like that? And then, of course, after his arrest, they also discovered kiddie porn on his phone, and he admitted that he got pleasure from that and targeted victims from the age of 5 to 12. So I guess, in addition to being a nutcase, he's also an extreme pervert. and it's good that they were able to catch up with this nutcase. It also, again, lingering questions about potential involvement. At this time, the roommate appears to be fully cooperating with law enforcement, and for the safety of him and also the family of Tyler Robinson, they have been moved out of state and are being guarded by a security detail at this time. Probably a good call. In the response to the Charlie Kirk assassination, South Park distributor Paramount actually pulled the episode where Charlie Kirk was being parodied by Eric Cartman within the show. And I think this is a mistake, producer Jack, because Charlie Kirk himself, in addition to championing free speech, including mocking and offensive free speech, he personally enjoyed the parody of him in South Park, something that his friends could testify to, including Andrew Colvett, who was the executive producer of the Charlie Kirk show, telling Paramount, like, no, look, put it back up. It's fine that you were poking fun. That's part of the free exchange in a free society. And this was Charlie Kirk defending it.
I'm sick of people stealing my stick. If anyone around here is going to be a master debater, it's me. So let's go. Who wants to debate the master debater? Let's go. You right there.
That's the stupidest haircut I've ever seen.
You have now. Leviticus 3:17 says it shall be a perpetual statute for your generation throughout all your dwellings. So you can shut up, baby. You just hate America and you love abortions.
It's the stupidest haircut I've ever seen. First of all, I just think it's hilarious.
So
and secondly, the whole thing is like, wait, so a campus thing I've been doing for 13 years to debate random college kids has now been so important that it gets prominent primetime placement on Comedy Central. I think the whole thing is just awesome and hilarious. There's so much more I want to say about this, but the whole shtick, by the way, Comedy Central, South Park, you crushed the water. I compulsively drink water.
You know, and so you are able to process comedic attacks on you much better when you have a little bit of humility and you can roll with the punches, as was clearly the case with Charlie Kirk. And his friends are advocating for the episode to return. Certainly, if you want to honor the legacy of Charlie Kirk, he would support this episode returning on air, even though it was mocking him. And people, you know, in the days since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, have tried to, in an attempt to justify this assassination, malign his character and portray him as a bigoted, intolerant, hateful individual. And you have dozens of clips like the one I'm about to play of him defending people's freedoms, defending their right to express themselves, including homosexuals, which, you know, of course, he's accused of hating the gays and he wants to see them all stoned to death. But this doesn't sound like somebody who wants to see gay people stoned to death to me when he was defending them against a Christian heckler in his crowd.
I'm going to ask a very respectful question, as respectfully as I can. What does what they do in their private life concern you so much that you have to go up in front of a crowd and...
It is against God. That is
so let me ask
Are you a
question.
Christian or not?
Do we live in a theocracy, yes or no? No, do we live in a theocracy?
You said you're a Christian.
I am a Christian. And do you know what? And guess what? I will say this. Part of being a Christian is appropriately interpreting what the theological says for the individual, but also means to be long-suffering and patient and loving and kind. Jesus Christ talked to all people. Jesus Christ went and did his ministry through Judea and Samaria, and he had dinner with tax collectors, and he had dinner with prostitutes, and he did his ministry in every part of the Mediterranean. What it means to be a Christian, my friend, is to be open-minded but firm in your beliefs, so you can have that belief. But if you say there's something inherently wrong with communicating or associating just because they make different personal decisions than you, sir, are not a conservative. Thanks for being here tonight.
Doesn't sound like a hateful radical to me, producer Jack. And so the people who are trying to malign his character, you know, we see through that, and nobody's impressed by your intellectually dishonest approach. Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on the Circle. Coming up next, big story that broke this week. Erin Sheridan stepping forward on the Kendall and Casey show to share her story now that she's had the opportunity to speak with prosecutors about the alleged distribution of an AI porn video within the Micah Beckwith office, and whether or not he knew of its existence, which of course he continues to deny. But we'll also play some flashback audio of Micah Beckwith and some inconsistencies that have emerged in his story since this story has continued to evolve. So stay tuned to the conversation here on 93 WIBC. This is Saturday Night on the Circle.
Kendall and Casey.
Soybean farmers. They're entering harvest season and they're going to be struggling because the largest buyer of soybeans is who?
China. As someone who's spent their entire adult life poking various sized bears, you just got to accept. Sadly, I think our farmers are paying for what Donald Trump is doing in the trade wars.
Kendall and Casey. Weekdays 9 till noon on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. I know finding a dream engagement ring can be overwhelming, but don't worry, we got you. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond at Shane Company is truly the best of the best. Our team travels the world to see diamonds up close, in person. We handpick each one for its unique fire, brilliance, and scintillation. Diamond buying is an art. Of course, we look at cut, color, clarity, and carat, known as the 4 C's, but that's not all. We also look at how each diamond looks on a hand, where it will be worn, how it makes you feel, and if it's worthy of a Shane Company customer. That type of expertise only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. We also think about your budget. We only pick the best in each grade in all shapes and sizes. Your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Neighbors you know are talking about Galaxy Concrete Coatings and their transformation, like Rosemary.
I heard about Galaxy through social media as well as on the radio. I wanted to have Galaxy come out and redo my back patio. It runs the full length of the back of the house.
Galaxy Concrete Coatings is not epoxy, it's 4 times stronger.
Galaxy was great. They were very thorough. They were very clean, very efficient. They cleaned up after themselves. I was very impressed with the crew.
Commercial or residential, Galaxy transforms pools, patios, garage floors, driveways, and more. And also, it comes with a lifetime warranty.
The reason I chose Galaxy is because of the durability. We've got pets, and so sometimes they do have accidents. It's very easy to just hose off. My neighbors have come over, and every single one of them have said it's beautiful.
Click on GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com and remember to like us on Facebook. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. We are out of this world.
Football is back, and so are great hairlines. We Grow Hair Indy has helped former local professional football players get back in the game with full natural hair. You don't have to play pro ball to get pro-level results. Hey, it's Rob, and I knew I picked the right team when I needed a Hail Mary for my hair. I called We Grow Hair Indy. Whether you're tailgating, coaching, or watching from the couch, do it with confidence. Trade the sidelines for a hairline. Get back in the game at We Grow Hair Indy. Schedule your free evaluation today at WeGrowHairIndy.com. That's WeGrowHairIndy.com or call 317-522-2995. That's 317-522-2995. Enjoy being out and about this fall. Enjoy watching the games in person with your friends with confidence you haven't had in years. And you can do it with a trip to We Grow Hair Indy. 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Tell them Rob sent you.
Want to be part of the conversation without waiting on hold?
We're sorry. All of our representatives are still assisting other customers.
Join the Text Club. Direct access to your favorite WIBC show. Text WIBC to 317-239-9393.
Fall is in full swing at Sundown Gardens. Locally grown mums and pumpkins plus fall annuals and decor. 186th Street, Spring Mill Road in Westfield. It's sundown.gardens.com.
Find the path to recovery that works for you. CDC.gov/stop-overdose.
Heat and cool your man cave, attic, garage, or bonus room without adding ductwork with Mitsubishi Electric ductless mini splits.
To find out more, just go to AbsoluteComfort.org.
Forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org.
Don't be shy, just let your feelings roll on by. Don't wear fear, or nobody will know you're there.
You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Let your feelings out.
This was a story that broke a few months ago on 24 Site News, written by Tom LoBianco, who alleged within the lieutenant governor's office there had been shared an AI porn video, a deep fake of an Indiana state legislator. And for obvious reasons, this shocked the conscience of a lot of people, if it was true. And of course, Micah Beckwith immediately denied the existence of such a thing within his office. And in fairness, no video has been produced as yet. However, there are several individuals, at least two known, who have offered their accounts of what transpired in the lieutenant governor's office, or what is alleged to have transpired in the lieutenant governor's office. And after speaking with a local Marion County prosecutor who is alleged to be investigating this, potentially with a grand jury, one of the individuals who is telling their story came forward this week on the Kendall and Casey show, that being a former advisor to Lieutenant Beckwith, who was fired several months ago after she had refused to step down. Many individuals had speculated, evidently correctly, that she could be one of the individuals alleging the existence of this AI porn video. And that was Erin Sheridan, who shared her story on the Kendall and Casey show. Of course, you can hear the full interview. This is but a small snippet, but the full interview on the Kendall and Casey show posted on the WIBC podcasting website, and I believe they have several other avenues as well. But here was kind of the brief of her story as she tells it.
What happened? Can you walk us through?
Well, it's not near as exciting as what I think that your listeners are going to think that it is, but it is important.
Right. So can you walk us through, like, who was doing what and
So I was walking through the office and I heard some employees sitting around laughing and joking, and you know, it was a nice atmosphere. And so I paused and said, what's so funny? What's everyone laughing about? And they were like, oh my gosh, check this out, and handed me a phone. And I had to put on my glasses, my readers, and I had no idea what I was getting ready to see. And it was, it obviously was fake. It was AI, but it was a video of Representative Haggard's wife, Brooke, performing at the Hoosier Idol, and she was topless. And I immediately, do you have your beeper ready?
Yeah, we're good to go.
Your buzzer. I immediately, I recognized it because I had been there for the performance.
Yeah, you were at the event itself.
Yeah. And so I just was taken aback by it, but I'll admit I wasn't like immediately offended or like I just was appalled that they were so immature.
Now, whether you choose to believe her or not, that is her story. And right now, it's a bit of a he said, she said without having a video as corroboration in this story. However, she has now told this at least a couple of times, once on the Kendall and Casey show, and then once earlier today on Abdul at Large in the afternoon. And her story remained consistent between at least those two tellings, and possibly with other tellings. Of course, Rob said that she informed him in private and the story stayed consistent. But I noticed, producer Jack, in Micah's story, there are some inconsistencies developing. You may remember all the way back in August when he was first refuting the existence of this this AI video, and those who had shared their story were at the time yet unnamed. And when he was talking with WoWo's Caleb Blakesley, he tried to diminish the credibility of 24 Site News and reporter Tom LoBianco by saying he'd never heard of the site before and that this was just some reporter from somewhere. At least this is what he said back in August.
So there's literally nothing here. And so the media just picked up. It was this news source that I'd never heard of before.
Me neither.
24 Site News. But then WIBC just picks it up and starts running with it like there's something there. And they push this out, and they're like, oh, well, this is obviously something because some reporter somewhere in the country got an alleged tip from some, and they're all anonymous sources. This is the same thing they did to Trump. I don't let the establishment rhinos and the leftist media Marxists stop me from doing what I know is right to do, and I'm going to continue doing it. So I get out there, I tell my story, I tell the people what we're doing, I work hard for the people, and then I let my record speak for itself. So I couldn't care less if there's some news source that I've never heard of writing articles about me.
You're a liar! You're a liar! You know something that you're not telling us, you slimy scumbag liar!
So he seemed pretty clear, their producer Jack, on at least a couple of occasions, that he had no idea who this 24 Site News was, never heard of him, this, obscure reporter, no idea, right? I mean, he was clear on that point, said it a couple of times. That was back in August. Then after that interview with Caleb Blakesley, Tom LoBianco himself appeared on the Kendall and Casey show and said, "That's ridiculous. I had interfaced with Micah well in advance of the AI porn video's existence. In fact, I took a ride in his $90,000 Tahoe that the state bought him, and we took a ride to a campaign stop earlier in March. And so after that revelation, now when Micah Beckwith returned to the Hammer and Nigel show to discuss his response to the Aaron Sheridan allegations, now his story seems to have changed about his awareness of 24 Site News and Tom LoBianco. The story, producer Jack, is shifting. There are some inconsistencies that are developing here. See if you agree with comparing what you heard with what he said this week on Hammer and Nigel.
So I met Tom back during session. It would have been back in March, I think. So
March?
Somewhere in there. I don't remember. But everyone told me, hey, watch out for Tom LoBianco. He's a hitman. He's gonna, he's gonna find something on you. He's gonna bring you down, right? And so I'm like, okay, whatever. Well, I meet Tom. He calls me up and he's like, hey, can I get spend some time with you, get an interview? Well, I happen to be going up to an event in Marshall County. I was like, hey, why don't you jump in the car and ride up with us? And I'll give you, you can hang out for hours in the car, ask me any questions you want, full access, all this stuff. And so I went back to my team and they were like, you did what? And I said, yeah, listen, guys, we're going to be transparent. We're going to office. I speak to anybody. I tell anybody what I believe, why I believe it. And so he spent the whole day with us, actually. And it was really good. I love, as far as personalities go, I really enjoyed talking with him. He asked questions about all kinds of things, and on the way up and on the way back. But this was back in March. This was before any of this, alleged, video even, existed, which I don't think it does. I think there is no video. But so that was back in March. That was when I first met him.
Curiouser and curiouser.
So you got to ask yourself, producer Jack, if the lieutenant governor is willing to lie about whether or not he knew this reporter, somebody that he had spent a whole day with, taking him to a campaign stop as part of his office here in the administration, knew him all the way back in March, somebody that now he says he was warned about in his office. Now, if he's willing to lie about knowing that individual, what else might he be willing to lie about? The mind wonders, producer Jack. So yeah, some inconsistencies that I noted in the story of Micah Beckwith. And of course, this story continuing to develop. It is far from over. And I think that's what he fears the most, regardless of whether you feel that this is, a big crime, making this AI deepfake. Often, remember, producer Jack, it's the cover-up that'll get you, not the crime. Thanks for listening to 93 WIBC. Stay tuned for more coming up next. Conversations with producer Carl for another edition of Conspiracy Corner. Don't miss it.
Hammer and Nigel.
Weatherman upset that Trump cutting some funding to the National Weather Service.
The war on science.
Yeah, tell me more about that science that told me I had to wear a mask made in China that didn't protect me from anything. Tell me about the science of 6 feet apart. Tell me about the science of being in a restaurant. You can sit down and eat with no mask, but you got to stand up and wear a mask. But if you go to Cannes, you got to stand back up and put it on again.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Attention Indiana homeowners. Are you dealing with a wet and moldy crawl space? Hi, I'm Adam Swain with Swain Co. Crawl Space and Basement Repair, your real, local, Indiana family-owned experts dedicated to fixing your crawl space right the first time. And with our new no interest, no payment financing, you can get the repairs you need without breaking the bank. Don't let crawl space water problems dampen your spirits. Call Swain Co., Indy's most trusted waterproofing experts at 317-407-1868 or swaincollc.com.
Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure.
Now 1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft, in a breach, or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Stop settling for weak sound. It's time to level up your game and bring the boom. Hit the town with the ultra-durable LG X Boom portable speaker and enjoy vibrant sound wherever you go. Elevate your listening experience to new heights because, let's be real, your music deserves it. The future of sound is now with LG X Boom. And for a limited time, save 25% at LG.com with code FALL25. Bring the boom. X Boom.
Smokey the Bear.
Then you know why Smokey tells you when he sees you passing through. Remember, please be careful, it's the least that you can do.
It's what you desire, don't play with matches, don't play with fire.
After 80 years of learning his wildfire prevention tips, Smokey Bear lives within us all. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com. And remember,
only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
This hour powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard Mitsubishi Electric Ductless Mini Splits dealer.
Fox News, I'm Carmen Roberts. Democratic leaders, Senator Chuck Schumer and Congressman Hakeem Jeffries are demanding President Trump meet with them to discuss averting a government shutdown. Yesterday, the House approved a GOP spending bill, but the Senate failed to follow through.
A government shutdown now looms on October 1st. That's because the House recessed until after the deadline. So what the House approved is a take-it-or-leave-it proposition.
Fox's Chad Pergram on Capitol Hill. New York City ramps up security ahead of next week's UN General Assembly meeting and the Jewish New Year holiday.
NYPD leaders have emphasized there are no specific or credible threats, but they still have to be on high alert because of the climate here and also abroad.
Fox's CB Cotton. And California's governor signs a law banning most law enforcement officers from wearing masks during some operations. America's listening to Fox News.
This is Matt Baer. You've heard Dr. Nick Wilson on the weekend shows here on WIBC, and you've probably heard me talk about how much Restructured Chiropractic has helped me over the years. If you're dealing with daily headaches, constant neck tension, or that heavy tech neck by noon, your body's trying to tell you something. At Restructure, they don't just crack backs, they dig deeper to find what's stressing your nervous system and help you feel like yourself again. Right now, Dr. Wilson is offering you a full spine and nervous system assessment with his team. That includes your consultation, posture and nerve scans, x-rays if needed, and a customized natural health plan. Normally over $250. It's just $88 when you mention this ad. Restructured Chiropractic, the place I trust to get real results. Text relief to 317-749-0677. 317-749-0677. Check out more at BeRestructured.com.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Reinhardt Heating and Cooling.
Owner Danny Reinhardt says putting his kids in charge of more of the day-to-day operations of the business was the plan all along.
It makes me really proud that I know that I can turn it over to my family and they can take care of things, and I've got all the confidence in the world in them. And that's the legacy I'm proud to leave.
A great family-owned business, Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. 317-745-4526. Reinhardt, your trusted local independent American Standard dealer.
Stop settling for weak sound. It's time to level up your game and bring the boom. Hit the town with the ultra-durable LG X Boom portable speaker and enjoy vibrant sound wherever you go. Elevate your listening experience to new heights because, let's be real, your music deserves it. The future of sound is now with LG X Boom. And for a limited time, save 25% at LG.com with code FALL25. Bring the boom. X Boom.
This is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to Saturday Night on the Circle. I'm your Bohemian codger, Ethan Hatcher. The podcasts are uploaded to WIBC.com and my personal podcasting page, SaturdayNightOnTheCircle.fireside.fm. And we're streaming live every Saturday night, 7 to 9 on the YouTube machine. Hop in the chat and join the fun. In the week since the brutal assassination of Charlie Kirk, many Americans have gathered to peacefully memorialize the passing of a free speech icon. But many questions remain surrounding his death, including the important questions of who knew what and when. It's been revealed that shooter Tyler Robinson was in communication with fellow radicals using social media sites like Discord, and their potential involvement hasn't been entirely ruled out. Also, what was the motivation of the curmudgeonly boomer in the crowd to claim responsibility in the immediate aftermath of the attack? These questions and others remain as yet unanswered. Here to challenge the deceptive narratives of the mainstream media is a man cutting like a beacon of light through the darkness, the ever-vigilant producer Carl, who joins us for another edition of Carl's Conspiracy Corner.
You're listening to Carl's Conspiracy Corner. The truth is out there.
Have you ever seen a commie drink a glass of water?
Well, no, I can't say I have.
The views expressed by Conspiracy Carl are those of Carl and Carl alone. They are not the views of his station or its distributors. I mean, obviously.
Deep beneath the streets of Indianapolis, in an undisclosed broadcasting bunker, we're once again joined by producer Carl for another edition of Conspiracy Corner. What's up, producer Carl? Tell us more about the details of the Charlie Kirk assassination, because you have some fascinating theories.
Well, it's safe to say that whatever the mainstream press is putting out, and I'm going to lift this from the No Agenda show, the M5M, because it sounds like a spy agency. They're spooks, the media. Whatever the narrative is that's out there, generally it's something that you could be suspicious of, and the suspicion is that this is way too open and shut, this case. You know, they already knew what the motive was before they caught the guy, and then the guy fit the narrative in the sense that he had a trans lover, and so there's more to this story that I think has yet to be revealed, and I'm certainly hoping, although I'm not expecting that Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are actually going to reveal anybody other than a lone shooter.
But producer Carl, you can't have it both ways here, because I remember the conspiracies after the Las Vegas mass shooting, which still remains, I believe, the largest mass shooting in American history, of which we still know shockingly little about the motivation or any of the information surrounding that attack. But now you have the complete opposite, where a man was assassinated and you say, we know too much. There's too many details. It's too neat.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that the narrative is that they caught the guy. He's the lone wolf. He's the crazy trans lover guy, and it's open and shut, and we're done.
I mean, he was the guy on the roof, as far as we know. He matches the general physical description and the characteristics of the person that was on camera. They have the gun. They have his fingerprints on the gun. There was one bullet. It seems pretty open and shut.
Well, let's play the audio.
Okay, what are we getting to?
This is the audio regarding the university where Charlie Kirk was assassinated.
Okay, does anyone else think it's odd that Tyler Robinson, the Charlie Kirk shooting suspect, heads to Utah State University, a school with uniquely heavy CIA ties, for just one semester in 2021 as a pre-engineering major, then mysteriously drops out and heads back home? He was a bright kid, top 1%, ACT score of 34, 4.0 GPA in high school, and got a $32,000 presidential scholarship. The university's Center for Anticipatory Intelligence, the nation's first program of its kind, led by ex-CIA analyst Jeannie Johnson and co-founded by former CIA Assistant Director Matt Barrett, actively recruits STEM kids like Tyler for its interdisciplinary intelligence training. There are no known direct connections yet, but with the USU's strong CIA and Israeli ties via over $2.4 million in research grants, you have to wonder what sparked the sudden exit.
Remember, Oswald was...
This seems like a stretch, producer Carl. No offense, but...
Oswald was also working for the deep state.
Okay, but
all these crazy
ties to the CIA? I've never heard of Utah Valley University.
I never heard, but you know, I'm not involved with the CIA.
And if this guy got some kind of intelligence training, he was very sloppy because he was leaving a litany of digital evidence and communication with outside individuals.
I don't know if necessarily that was the case, that he was working knowingly with the CIA. I suspect that he went there, and he's a very bright kid, as the woman had said, and oftentimes...
Doesn't seem that bright to me.
Oftentimes, genius goes in line with crazy. And I think what ended up happening is somebody got a hold of him and radicalized him in some way. What this reminded me of was the Aurora, Colorado shooting. You remember that guy?
Oh, yeah, that's been a while.
He was like when they caught him, he looked like a clown, Bozo the Clown hair, and he was...
that was the theater shooting.
Yeah.
Okay.
He also was a really bright kid, and he got involved with this weird program, and then he went nuts. And I think that the spooks find these really bright people, and they're able to manipulate them to do things what they want. They to create their own patsy.
You're saying MK Ultra never went away? They're still using mind control on people?
I think so. I think on individuals and also in groups. I think that they are oftentimes the people that are on Reddit that are getting people to do what they want them to do. I don't put it beyond the fact that spooks were involved in Jan 6 to get people to go there, to get them angry and say, hey, we've got the plan. Show up to D.C. We're going to march on the Capitol.
Okay, but January 6th and this assassination are two completely different beasts. They're a completely different character. And I think here, what we're looking at is a consequence of the culture of victimhood, victim mentality, where you've told these people that they are constantly under attack and that words are violence. And here you have a man who is sharing his views, and this nutcase had a unique opportunity and a very unguarded, safe location with light security, and it doesn't take a marksman or an assassin to be relatively accurate, especially with a deer hunting rifle equipped with a decent scope at 200 yards. It's not a mystery here. He was just consumed with the victim culture of victimhood.
That is the official narrative. I am questioning it.
Okay, you can question it.
I am questioning it. Now, you've seen the videos of his security making hand signals,
adjusting their hats.
Well, have you watched baseball? That's what they do make signals. Like, hey, you're going to throw a strike now. Now, let's play this audio from the Kate Daly Show.
Okay, so the security team was switched out 3 days before to a group called Blackstone. And that was weird because the same thing in 9/11, we had a switcheroo of the pilots and the stewardesses. They all got switched out. That never happens in pilot land because they always get their schedule like a month ahead. So to have all of them switched out for other pilots and schedules rearranged 24 hours before was strange. Also happened on the Trump thing. He had brand new people working for him that day. So I'm always suspicious when I see a switch out of security, okay?
Yeah, I didn't know that the pilots of 9/11 were all switched out too.
Okay, so but so what are we to conclude? Because again, these are two completely unrelated events.
Well, one of the conspiracy theories out there is that Charlie Kirk was not hit by the rifle on the roof. Kirk was hit from behind by his security.
Yeah, I've seen that where that wasn't an entrance point, that was an exit.
Yeah,
wound.
well, there was no autopsy, and of course Ethan's gonna go, well, of course he died by a bullet to the neck. Yeah, but the question is the trajectory of the bullet. Did it come from the roof or did it come from behind? I've seen screen caps, and I have to admit to the audience, I'm not going to watch all of these videos in detail because, frankly, I don't want to see the graphic video of him actually taking the shot and blood spurting out all over the place. But I've seen the screenshots of, like, why is the cameraman all of a sudden disassembling his camera? That's a crime scene. They're packing up and getting ready to go, like, okay, I guess we're done for today.
Well, I mean, there were also that guy that jumped the fence and started throwing out the Charlie Kirk and Trump hats.
Yeah, well,
immediately after the guy got assassinated.
I think that's just
There's a lot of goofy characters, including that curmudgeonly old man who apparently was trying to give cover to the assassin.
That looked like Larry David.
Yeah, he was waving his arms and saying, I did it. I was the assassin, Charlie Kirk.
Ethan,
actually, according to law enforcement officials, hoping to give this nutcase an opportunity to
did
leave.
You know that guy, according to the reports that I saw, that guy was regularly online being a pedo and trying to find minors?
Yes.
Yeah.
He also...
And not minors of the coal mining type.
Right. No, he was charged with possession of child sexual assault material.
Yeah. So you had
not good.
You had a group of these people that...
But there again, the mentally ill, birds of a feather flocking together,
well,
and
who
one
do you
guy
think
saw
the
an
deep
opportunity.
state's going to use? They're going to use their patsies to get their job done because ultimately what the deep state wants to do is to keep us off their game. They want to keep us going after each other, the right after the left, rather than acknowledging that our enemy, while they are dangerous, the left does not, the left, when I say the left, the useful idiots on the street do not control our lives. The people on top control our lives. And as long as we're in battle, having a soft civil war with these people, we're keeping our eyes off of the power brokers on top.
Well, if we're going to talk about deep state involvement and how they're potentially monopolizing on tragedy, I am concerned not about the so-called cancel culture that liberals are, in a kerfluffle about, but rather the government involvement. When you have people like the Attorney General Todd Rokita here in the state of Indiana putting pressure on private corporations to fire employees, this is no different than what the Biden administration was doing during the COVID times.
Left and right, birds of the same feather, right?
Yeah, but we definitely don't want to see that kind of exploitation of Charlie Kirk's legacy to then further grow the size and influence of government control in our lives.
The government, no matter who's in power, the government just continues to grow larger, doesn't it?
That seems to be the case. Thank you, Producer Carl. Another amazing segment.
All right, thank you so much.
Stay tuned to the one and only 93 WIBC. There's more Saturday Night on the Circle coming up next.
It's another week of this.
There's a very good chance that we'll have a settlement.
And another day for this.
Water rose 28 foot in 45 minutes.
Plus, another possibility of this.
Monitor the weather condition, the National Weather Service.
That's why another update is just minutes away.
Start saying we're not taking this anymore.
Just another day. Not with all this happening every day.
Happening now.
93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now's the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Teachers shape the future. Learn more and receive free support at teach.org.
Fall is here. Soon you'll be attending fall festivals and preparing Halloween costumes. But before the weather cools down, there are probably some issues with your home that still need your attention. Have you been ignoring your drywall cracks, uneven sagging or bouncing floors, sticking windows and doors, bugs and pests, wet basement, heightened indoor allergies, mold and mildew smells? Don't worry. With a free inspection from Indiana Foundation Service, you can find out what you need to do to protect your home and your family by pinpointing your home's issues at the source. Indiana Foundation Service has flexible financing plans, saving you money you can spend elsewhere. Indiana Foundation Service wants you to feel comfortable when fixing your problems and making a solid investment towards your home's future. Just visit IndianaFoundation.com today and schedule these local experts to come take a quick look.
Indiana Foundation Service, reliability from the ground up.
WindowNation.com for an incredible deal right now in September. You're going to save big this month. Buy 2 windows and you'll get 2 for free. No payments for 2 years. You won't have to deal with monthly payments, a down payment, or even any interest until 2027. I have Window Nation windows. They have brought the energy bills down in my house. My wife and I absolutely love our Window Nation windows.
Window Nation offers a lifetime warranty on all of their windows. So you can relax knowing your home is protected far into the future. And this deal, it's a good one. Buy 2 windows, get 2 for free. Make no payments for 2 years. Nothing down, no payments. You don't have to deal with anything until 2027. 866-90-NATION. Call and talk to a rep. Schedule that free in-home estimate. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure of
1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft, in a breach, or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Don't wait to hear it from someone else.
I says, oh yeah? And she says, yeah, is right.
The WIBC Daily Newsletter brings you the headlines, videos, and moments everyone will be talking about next.
But if I finish all of my chores and you finish thine, then tonight we're gonna party like it's 1699. We've been spending most our lives living in an Amish paradise.
This is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Thanks for spending another Saturday evening with me here on Saturday Night on the Circle. I'm Ethan Hatcher. That's producer Jack. And tell me, Jack, do you have any strong opinions on the great chili debate? Where do you stand in this discussion of culinary excellence? Because, like some people, they're very picky about their chili. Oh, it has to be a hot chili. Oh, if you put chocolate in your chili like Cincinnati chili, it doesn't count. Oh, if you put spaghetti noodles or elbow macaroni noodles in your chili, it doesn't count. What say you?
I don't know. I like chili, and I'm willing to try.
Willing to try different kinds?
Yeah, chocolate in a chili.
Well, tell me, when you have a bowl of chili, do you put any pasta in it?
Not really, just like cheese.
Okay, yeah. Well, see, some people think that's an offense to chili. I don't know what the so-called perfect chili is, but I know it's the Midwestern style to put a little pasta in it, and I don't mind having a little spaghetti or a little bit of elbow noodles in it, but maybe that's just the way I was raised. But certainly when I have the opportunity, I like Skyline chili. I like Cincinnati chili. It is so unique, and this week for Antique Expedition, I went to Columbus, Ohio to pick up a Edison Diamond Disc Jacobian art case model, and that was at the time very unpopular design for the Edison case. It wasn't very sought after. It didn't sell particularly well, but that's good news for me because that means the model is exceedingly rare. So I went down to Ohio for an afternoon. It was about a 6-hour round trip to go down there to Columbus via the highway on I-70. Just a straight trip, but whenever I do go to Ohio, I like stopping by a Skyline chili and picking up some 3 coney dogs. I like the way that they tower the cheese high on their chili conies, and then getting a couple packs of oyster crackers with them the Skyline chili way. Have you ever been to a Skyline chili, producer Jack?
I have not, but I heard it's really good.
Yeah, you got to try it. There are a few around Indianapolis. It's more big in Ohio than it is in Indiana, but you got one out there on East Washington Washington Street around Cherry Tree Plaza, although past Post Road. Although it's pretty difficult to get out there these days with the way that the Hogsett administration has unfortunately mutilated Washington Street in pursuit of this ridiculous blue line with their dedicated bus lines. They're completely messing up the traffic flow, Producer Jack, and I'm opposed to it. But I'm not opposed to some good Skyline chili. And if you haven't had the opportunity to get some, heck, if you don't want to drive down there yourself, that's what Uber Eats is for. You can order a taxi, taxi delivery service for your food.
Yep.
And I like going out and antiquing because it gives me an opportunity to get out of the house and do something I enjoy, take my mind off, the political goings on, and the world is just so full of darkness and stress, disorder, and decay. It's nice to focus on other things, better things, happier things, like relics of the past that transport you to a different time. Speaking of time, though, I have ran out for this week's edition of the show. Thanks for spending your time with me on a Saturday evening. And I leave you with my parting words of wisdom, as always, wherever you are, whoever you're with, and whatever you're doing. Remember that life is a state of mind. And I'll see you next week right here on WIBC.
Kendall and Casey.
Charlie Kirk.